and welcome to an Everyday Canines video. In this episode on teaching weaves, we're going to look at what the behaviour you're getting at the moment on 4 weaves is before we move on. So it's very important that at each stage of teaching the weaves, we understand what we are getting, and are we getting confidence, are we getting understanding? Because if we're not and we move on, we're then going to see a lot of failures and we need to go back. So I've got my 4 weaves. They are straight, so hopefully you've worked your 2x2s, now they're straight. So the first question I want you to ask yourselves is, can my dog find the entry on the left? Weavers. Oh dear, that was rubbish. Weavers. Good girl. So first question, can my dog find the entry on the left without you over helping as well? This is important. We don't want you to have to really push your dog into those weaves. Can the dog just find them independently? So next we're going to ask, can our dog enter the weaves on the right? Okay, ready? This is her harder side, so this is a good one. Ready? Weavers. Good girl, get it. Okay, so once you've checked both your sides, then I want you to ask yourself, and now this is something you've already seen me doing, but is my dog needing me to help it through the weaves? So am I having to go like this the whole way to get her through the weaves? Now, you might have noticed that when Magpie was doing this, she was turning back. Am I doing this correctly? That is because I've done a lot of work with a target ahead for her to drive to. When there isn't a target ahead, she's not so sure. So that's something I've got to work on. So when I was walking beside her, she obviously looked a lot more confident because she knew what I'm doing. But I want to be able for her to get on with those weaves independently. Okay, so we're going to ask this. This time the question I'm asking myself is, does my dog need me to move with her? Or can my dog just get on with things? Weavers. Good girl. That was much better. She got on with what she needed to do. So we've looked at, can my dog do them on the right and the left? Can my dog do them independently without me having to go with them? I would say do that on the right and the left as well, because you can find they can do it on the left and they can do it on the right. At that stage, you're starting to say, okay, my dog is starting to get this. We're not necessarily pushing too much here because we're going to move on to that at the next stage. But at this stage, we're going, good, there's some real nice understanding here. So once you've got that, and if you haven't got this stage, obviously, you need to go back and work on it. How would I do the thing where I'm proofing with the toy, for instance? That's my little project. Well, if you saw that last time, when she was going through, I saw she's going ahead. I made sure to throw in earlier so that she didn't have so much of a chance to look back on herself. But I've got to be careful, because if I do it too soon, she may just pass by the last weave. So let's look at that again. Pie. Weavers. There, look, see? She predicted the toy was going to come, so I can work past that. Good girl. What happens if, as I said, your dog expects you to move with them? Okay, well, what you're going to be doing is you're going to gradually reduce your movement. So if you have to walk the whole way, then you start to slow down. Let the dog get a little bit ahead of you and throw in. If your dog is really struggling with this, I would suggest you go back to 2 and start again, because your dog should not have to have your body presence to do this. But I know sometimes that can happen without people realising what they've done. It can become all too easy for us to not realise we're helping, and then we help, and then we look back and we go, oh no, I've accidentally made a condition of the weaves that I've got to be with them. And then we don't want that. We want, I mean, you might say, well, that's okay for me, but ideally we want complete and utter independence so our dogs can get on and do stuff. Do this with us being able to get elsewhere. Those are the ways you're going to test your weaves. If you're having trouble on your right side, again, you might go back, you might say, turn this one and do it again as the open weave, so they've got more chance to get it, and then go on. Because usually if you're having trouble with a side as you moved on too quick, at the same time, don't hang around, because if you hang around too long, then they can't weave. What happens if you can do it at a slight angle, but as soon as you go straight, the dog doesn't do it? That says you spent too long at one particular stage, and it's easy done, trying to build that confidence, and you've just got to work through it. Again, if we've started with the two on their own, that should help. But what can happen is it's the bend back. So the dog gets that they've got to come in here, but the bend back here is the problem. What you can do then is remove this pole and just work on the bend back. So you just work on getting the dog to bend back on itself by putting in the reward there and rewarding that behaviour. It might take a bit because the dog might want to just blast past, but once they realise the reward is coming there, the logical process is to slow themselves down. And that is also teaching collection, which you're going to need later on as the weaves get more complicated. So that's what you're going to do, that's what you're going to look at and assess all this before you move on to the next stage, before you rush ahead, because it's important we know that these bits are correct. So I hope you've enjoyed this Everyday Canines video and hope you're getting on well with your weaves. You can always ask me questions on my Facebook group, also on YouTube. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and click the icon so you get future notifications of new videos coming out. And also remember to find us on Facebook and Instagram and now TikTok. And I hope to see you all again very, very soon.